Exclusive. Rocket Venturi Racing Formula E team principal Susie Wolff gives her view on the Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton Silverstone row. Rocket Venturi Racing Formula E team principal Susie Wolff says she believes Christian Horner allowed his emotions to boil over at the British Grand Prix, and watching Lewis Hamilton go on to win the race must have been difficult to watch for the Red Bull boss after his driver crashed out early. Red Bull's Max Verstappen, who had a 33-point lead coming into the weekend, collided heavily with Hamilton on the opening lap of the race, hitting the barriers hard. Hamilton picked up a 10-place time penalty for the incident but went on to win in front of his home fans, cutting the deficit to just 8 points heading to Hungary. Verstappen was then caught up in another first-lap tangle. This time Valtteri Bottas got out of shape into the first corner in Budapest, wiping out Lando Norris, Sergio Perez, with Verstappen picking up heavy damage to the right side of his bargeboard. Horner branded Hamilton desperate and a dirty driver, with chief advisor at Red Bull Helmut Marko calling for the 7-time world champion to serve a race ban for his part in the crash. Wolff, however, dismissed any suggestion his driver was undeserving of his victory at the British Grand Prix, adding a win is a win and that they will put it on the scorecard and move on. Speaking at the Formula E London E-Prix ahead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, in which her team picked up P9 and P11 with Eduardo Mortara, Wolff admitted as a team principal, "You need to keep your emotions in check. It's always difficult to put yourself in other people's shoes," began Wolff, speaking exclusively to Express Sport. Obviously, he, Horner, was very upset in the moment, but of course, as a team principal, you have to sometimes take the emotion out of it and obviously stand above and make your emotions heard. I think you need to be very careful in those instances and not to let your emotions take over. I think in the end, if it came down to one person's viewpoint who was very emotional in that moment, and obviously it was difficult watching Lewis to go on to win the British Grand Prix and have what made me so proud to see the whole place erupted. And I think that played a huge part of his energy and his will to want to try and win the race. But in the end, it's great for the sport. Everybody's talking about it. I think it will go on to be a great rivalry between the two drivers. Despite Hamilton's penalty, many believed the accident to be a racing incident, including former F1 driver Jolyon Palmer and Sky Sports F1 pundit Karun Chandhok, and Wolff was inclined to agree. "Everyone's going to have their own opinion on that," added Wolff, who has been married to the Mercedes boss since 2011.